Hi, this is Jack. On the topic of sight and hearing, the depletion of sight and hearing, why human beings in their lives go blind and why in their lives they go deaf. Well, from that perspective of during a lifetime going blind and during a lifetime going deaf, let's start with losing your sight, would be human beings transfixed on what they see with their human physical eyes in this world. In other words, human beings that are completely enslaved and trapped in this picture manifested world and existence. So human beings that go blind during their lifetime, including human beings that are born blind, are both types of carrying this entire world's balancing act of sight and seeing. Because remember we communicated with regards to the human physical body that is one with the earth, and is as life, as one with life in expression. That in terms of blindness, being born blind and going blind, is for the world to realize that you are blind, literally. Human beings are transfixed into this picture world completely, believing what their eyes are seeing is real, and therefore building and experiencing and believing this life and themselves to be just this picture world. And they're just contained and lost into this little world of pictures. If you have a look at everything you see, it's just pictures. And human beings literally live, define, experience themselves according to this picture world. And that's what the physical human bodies are assisting and supporting human beings with, in terms of beings that are going blind and babies that are born blind. Now, understand that those who created the human physical body and this entire existence understood this aspect, and they realized that this blindness started occurring the more the population started growing in this existence, and so they basically created balancing points. So for instance, they take the whole world and manifest only a few human beings that go blind, so that the rest of humanity don't have to go blind. So then that's why human beings go totally blind, and that's why babies that are being born are born blind, because of the balancing act for all of humanity. So they actually go blind for all of humanity. So see how blind humanity still really is, because that's not even taken into consideration. And these babies that are being born, or even human beings that are going blind, are actually saying to the world, listen, human beings, you're blind. You're blind because you believe that what you're seeing in this world is real. You believe that this is all that exists. And you're building and founding your world and who you are on this picture reality. When it's not who you are, you think you see, but you're actually blind. You don't see. This is a mind-created reality existence of holographic 3D manifested physical pictures. Seeing is seeing of oneness, of equality, of all as one as equal, everything, in one moment as you, here, in this physical universe, this physical 3D manifest existence. The same with hearing. Beings that are born deaf and go deaf later in their life because they're not hearing themselves. They're also a balancing point of humanity in their entirety. So basically all human beings' sight in terms of their lifetimes in this world, as well as the hearing, is all together through the unconscious mind. It was transferred into specific human beings that were specifically born just to balance out the act of sight and hearing, so that the rest of the world can see and hear. That's the only reason why the babies were born, just for the balancing act of this. Hearing from the perspective that human beings don't realize the words they speak at all. You don't hear yourself. You don't realize that each and every single word you speak, you create with. You actually create your world and the experience of you through the words you speak. And human beings just speak, with no awareness whatsoever. Gossiping, judging, ranting, raving, without any awareness of realizing what it is that you're actually saying. So, human beings, that's why we say, the eyes deceive. Physical human eyes. Don't look with these eyes. Look through the words. Human beings, as who they are, exist within the words they speak. What they express as themselves through the words they speak. So, be careful of what you see with your eyes. Even if you're required to close your eyes when you hear someone speak for a moment, close your eyes. Allow the words to flow through you and then see what it is that this being is actually saying. The same with yourself. When you speak, allow the words to flow through you and experience yourself through the words you speak to make sure that each word is clear, that it's an expression of you. And it's not just a mind race of sentences strung together, blabbering nonsense, but that each and every single word you speak is specific. And that each and every single word you speak support you in your process. So, hear the words you speak, as well as when doing forgiveness. Make sure that your eyes don't deceive you, all these picture people and things you see in this world. It's the biggest thing, especially with regards to relationships. What the picture shows tends to be the greatest trap. So human beings, hear the words. Hear the words. And hear the words as you, within the experience of yourself in your process. And also, as I've said, yeah, it's all in the words. Everything is in the words. Okay, this is Jack. Thank you very much. Wait, sorry, I wanted to say one more thing. The whole sight hearing scenario we have corrected, so it doesn't exist any longer. So I suggest you better get your ass in gear, that you make sure you don't go blind or deaf, because you don't want to see and hear yourself as one is an equality through the expression of you as the words you speak. Thank you very much. This is Jack.